Hello, Justine Dandria here with the Bible Journaling Ministries creative team, and we will be using the principle Believe today that is in the Momentum Kit, or you can buy it separately on BibleJournalingMinistries.com. Some of the items that we'll be using is today I'm using a flower stamp and I'm using some lettering stamps. You need your acrylic blocks to go with that. I'm using distressed ink and then just regular black ink. And the distressed ink is vintage photo. That's the one I use a lot. I'm using some acrylic paints, uh, blue and pink and white. I'll be using. Also using some glitter, so you'll need some wet glue and different glitters to coordinate. And I'm also using my stickles. So um that's what I'll be using today. You also would need some hmm, ephemera, some like pages, some paper towels. Um, I'm using a black archival marker. So the pages of ephemera are just all different. I'm using book page and things I found around. And you don't have to use exactly the stamps I'm using. You can use whatever stamps that you have around your home. So don't forget some wet glue, some paper towels. I am using tissue paper and a gel medium. So today we're doing a mixed media piece. I'm excited to be doing this because I really don't do this much with you guys. And it's going to be a simple page, but it's going to be a fun page, I believe. And I'm introducing Stabilo. These are the cutest little things, and I'll talk a little bit more about them later. But I just got those in, and I'll put a link in the box for you. So if you're as excited as I am, let's get started. All right, so as I said, I'm using the printable Believe, this cute little princess style um, print. I went into my ephemera box, I grabbed some of that, and I'm starting off with some white tissue paper and gel medium and a paintbrush. So my gel medium has been sitting around for a little while, and I realize this as you see how thick it is and it's not really moving. It's not supposed to look like that. So what I need to do is put some water into it. But if you're going to add water, I would add some distilled water because that will help prevent it from becoming moldy. And I just spray it on. I have a spray bottle that has some water in it, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that and then mix it up a little so that it will loosen up. It should be kinda like a pasty consistency. Remember back in kindergarten? All those many a years ago, we used to have the glue paste, kinda something like that texture. So I'm grabbing some white tissue paper, and you can use any tissue paper you want, any style, any color. You'll first put a layer of some gel medium down, which acts kinda like glue, and then you'll place the tissue paper down and then put another layer of the gel medium on top of it. Now I'm using the gel medium matte, and what this does is it kind of gives a layer of protection so that you can add more materials on top of the tissue without it um, getting ruined and or becoming reactive to the materials that you're using. I'm looking on this thing here to see what it says. So it says mix 1 part to 4 parts paint. And all that's true. You can also use it in paint. I use it as a glue. All right, so I'm gonna mix it up a little bit more. If you want to, you can fill the whole page. I'm choosing not to. I'm just doing it in parts. If you're new to mixed media, you might want to just, try a little bit at a time. I do have to tell you, when you're doing this type of project, you do not want to think this is the type of project that you just kind of let loose and just kind of place things wherever. You'll be amazed how it all kind of comes together. And the more you do it, the more techniques you learn, the more that you can add to your page. So don't be afraid. Grab yourself a little bit of gel medium. They do come in smaller um, bottles and jars, and just play with it a lot. So the technique we're doing some layering, and we're doing layering so that we can do some stamping, but basically some I don't want to say easy stamping, but uh, mono stamping. I don't know. Okay. Once we get that first layer on, we want to make sure that it dries, because if you put too much layering on without it drying, it's never going to dry. So we put the tissue layer down, and now I'm taking a piece of an old book, a page from an old book, and I am going to do the same thing with the book page. I am ripping the pages. Torn edges work better with when you're doing this type of mixed media work. It just kind of blends into the paper a little bit better. And again, I'm not filling my whole background with the papers. I'm being selective and just doing maybe 3 to 5 pieces of the material that I'm using. I will be layering the picture of the girl down on the page in the middle. So I kind of want to keep that in mind, that that's not, you're not really going to see that, but sometimes when you're just kind of having fun going through, you just don't think about that. So what I'm doing is you're going to glue the back of your piece, lay it down, and then put the gel medium over top. So again, what this does is it protects your page so that you can go ahead and add other mediums on top of it, and it's not going to really affect the paper underneath, meaning it's not going to like pit or anything like that. And of course, guess what I forgot, ladies? You got it. To protect my page. Oh, I do want to mention that I am using a mixed media book. I probably should have said that from the very that's um I know, guys, I always forget something, right? So this is a mixed media book that I am using. This is a 16. Let me look real quick. I forgot the size. This is a 9 by 12 mixed media book. And what I'll do is I'll put a link. I get them from Amazon, but you can get them from any craft store, really. I'll put a link in there so that it'll be easy shopping for you. So I'm just taking a couple of other printed paper that I found. I keep a box of miscellaneous papers, and I use them for when I'm doing pieces like this. And again, I'm not filling the page. You can fill the page if you want. I'm just choosing not to. Because the printable is so big, you're not really going to see a lot of the back part of the page. But and you won't we're going to be covering it a little bit with acrylic. So you're not actually going to see the whole image of the paper either. This is honestly is one of my I really love to put music on and just kind of have fun, kind of like collaging, but then just adding different layers of techniques to it. Um, Believe me, you will get addicted once you get over being afraid, and um, you'll be surprised how easy it is. Alright, so I'm gonna go in hyperdrive here just so you could see the process, but not necessarily in slow motion. Alright, so that's about what I'm doing on my page. I'm not going too crazy. I am gonna set it aside and let it dry completely. You can use your heat gun if you want. And then in the meantime, I am just gonna color my printable with some colored pencils. And you can do whatever you want. You can watercolor her, maybe put her on cardstock. Um, I know that I am going to be adding some stickles to her later. And just a reminder that this is part of the Momentum Club. If you're part of that, you can go ahead and grab that. If you're not, go check it out at BibleJournalingMinistries.com. All right, as I finish her up, oh, I'm adding a little bit of pink. Can you see the pink to her? It looks so cute. It's very subtle. She's got pink lips and pink cheeks. All right, so I just wanted to just show you this part because I know sometimes it's fun just to see it come together. My next step is going to be taking my distressed ink um, vintage photo. This is the one if you're new and you want to have an ink that you'll use a lot, would recommend the distressed ink. And I'll go ahead and I'm pretty sure I can post that link too. And I'm just using a makeup applicator around the edges because I kind of just want to set it. I don't know. It just kind of looks like it's floating out there if you don't add a little something to it in my mind. So I don't know if you noticed too, I didn't do the little bubble wand type thing because I'm going to use gold stickles on that later. So I'm just doing a little bit of edging. If I get it in towards the middle, that's fine. It just looks vintage, and that's what we want. All right, just adding a little more to her. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my mixed media book. And a mixed media book basically is a book that has thicker paper to it so that you can do more with the paper. There are books that are specifically made for watercolor. You can watercolor on these, but there are special books for that. All right, so I'm grabbing an pink paint. I'm actually not very much in here, so I'm going to go ahead, shake it up. I added a little bit of water. And I'm going to put it directly on the page because I'm going to actually wipe it off. So I'm going to take, first I'm going to take my paintbrush and just spread it around. And you can do this even more diluted than it is right now. But you do have to be careful because you don't want to oversaturate your paper. Between each element, you really should be drying it, letting it dry or drying it with a heat element. So I'm just covering my whole paper. And then we're gonna grab a paper towel and take it off. So do you see that you can see the what's underneath the paint, but not clearly, that's all. You can't. And you can decide yourself what you want to do, like how thick you want the paint to be, how translucent you want it to be. And the really cool thing is you'll see where you did the tissue, how there's a lot of texture in that area. And that's a lot of fun. Like it's really cool to see it all kind of come together. So yeah. All right, so I am gonna do another color. I'm gonna dry it up first. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some blue and I'm gonna add some white. So I'm just putting just a little bit on a piece of paper that I had laying around. I'm going to take my paper towel and just dip it in and then just swipe around. I was even actually thinking of using the credit card technique that we use, but I didn't want too much on there. I just kind of want hints of it. So I want it to be more translucent and just more and a little more control over what was going to happen. So I purposely left the bottom part open. I really didn't open, meaning I didn't put pink paint down there. I purposely did that. And like I say, you could just go around and have fun. Do not think, again, when you're doing this part of it, you will drive yourself crazy. Kind of let yourself go, stand back, look at it, and kind of see if it's balanced. If it feels balanced to you, stop. If it doesn't feel balanced or if you get freaked out, you can always do it again. I am going to set it off with some white. I'm going to go a little bit heavier on the white, and it just mutes it a bit. Kind of just, yeah, sets it. It kind of sets it. Here again, you might want to just, you might want to let some of the pink show out, peek out without having any white in there. All right. So I'm gonna dry this up with my heat gun. When you're doing this, make sure you're moving it around. I also do the back of the page to kind of help it dry up a little bit quicker. And don't hold, just make sure you're not holding it in one place. It does get very hot if you're using that or even a blow dryer. My next step is going to be using stamps, but I think what I need to do is put her in the middle first. So I'm going to grab a stamp. And I'm using the flower ones because to me, she's very dainty. And I just kind of, because we have so much going on in the background, I wanted to keep it simple for the stamping part of this. So you don't have to, use stamps like you normally would to stamp an outline and color it in. You can just use it with the black. And you'll see that I'm just gonna place them around her. I'm gonna put some glue on her. And as always, you guys know, you can use whatever type of glue you're comfortable with. You can use glue stick. It was funny because someone was like, "You could put a glue stick in your Bible." Someone asked that the other day. I thought it was so cute. I said, "Yeah, that's what we all use." But when people are just well, actually, I was gonna say when people are just starting, but she wasn't just starting. I think she just hasn't never. I don't know. I don't know why. She's one of my students. So. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stamp. I kind of want to do like just a mono bouquet. Um, so I just want to use black, and I am gonna use a couple different stamps. And there is a technique that I always forget to use that I definitely remember to use in this video. So I'm really happy that I was like, oh, that's right, I can show them this. All right, so I have the vines. Now this actual stamp is from Sweet and Sassy Stamps, and I will put the link. Oops, I will put the link there because I love using her stamps. In addition, with the printables, this is Doodle Florals. So if you're a little nervous about doing your own doodling, this is a great way to use your doodles. Okay, so I noticed that when I put down the stamp, the spiral got in the way, and that's okay. So when you're doing this, it's a great idea to have a black archival ink pen near you because you can go over the stamp with the black ink. And you'll see me do that in a few minutes here. A few seconds. Add a couple more. All right. So I always forget to do this technique, and I just remembered here because I was like, wait a minute, I know I'm forgetting something. masking. So when you want to mask so that you can um, ink, ah, stamp over something else. So what I've done is I just stamped the image that I have on my page, and I'm gonna kind of just cut a rough copy out. A rough copy. Roughly cut it out. That's what I'm talking about. Just a quick fussy cutting around. It doesn't have to be perfect. You do want to cover up the area that you do not want to print over. And then you'll lay it down and you'll stamp. So now you've protected that area that you didn't want to stamp onto. Can you see that? Let's do it again up here. I'm going to cover this area here because I want to stamp and make it look like it's behind it. And that's called masking. And then take it off. And voila. So you can keep on going with your stamping. Did you guys know that? I just love that. I always forget to use it though. I don't know. I don't know why. But God always gives me, when I'm putting out art pieces together, He always gives me what I need. Honestly, He really does. I love the way this page came out. Honestly, it's very simple, um, and yet it's very, I don't know, it's peaceful to me. I don't know. I really love this page. It came out good. So I have to mask two of them because I'm going to stamp a third one. Now my stamp here didn't come out too good. I can't remember if there was something underneath it, but I'm just going to go ahead and go over it with the black marker. And you can actually accent and highlight with your marker too. And that you're going to see me do also because I was like, hey, why not? You have to remember that this is your piece. This is your time with God, and put on that worship music, just have some fun. Maybe if he even gives you words, I would have written them down. Maybe it would be a little bit harder because there's more texture to this, but you can always take a separate piece of paper and add to it. I am going to stamp with some, and I normally don't use lettering stamps, but I am going to today to show you. But do you see that there's some areas that are a little bit darker? So it kind of gives you some depth to the picture. Like it's not all one color, but I'm also not that concerned if I missed inking in some areas. This is just to me just a very natural, organic type of paper project. Yeah. Do you see that? You see how there's darker and lighter? It just adds some interest to it, I think. All right, so we put some on the side of her. Add a little bit more vining. You can actually draw your own vines in there too. And the other thing is, if you want to practice your doodling, you can stamp these on a piece of paper and then go over it with like a pencil or something. And you'll be amazed how, like, you'll all of a sudden realize that you can doodle. So to balance her out, I'm going to put a little bit over here. And I'm going to get some vines and put it in on the top and bottom. I don't know if you guys notice, but I actually am using both sides of the acrylic block. So I have a stamp when I'm doing something like this, I have a stamp on both sides, so I don't have to keep taking it on and off, on and off. All right. I am happy with it. I really do love the way it looks. I've never done a piece like this before, and it makes me happy. Not hard, right? Just adding a little bit of glue. And while that glue is in my hand, you know what I'm thinking. I need some glitter. So I'm actually just putting dots, just anywhere. I'm randomly putting dots all across the image here that I just stamped, and I'm going to be using pink, white, and blue. It's mini, what is it called? This is called Pretty Primus. So this is, it's just basically fine glitter. I love working with fine glitter. And I'm not putting a lot on. I'm just going to put a little bit on each dot. I'm going to put like a red, I'm going to like alternate it red and clear and not red, pink and blue, pink and blue, and then white, kind of like clear. And I'm just going to tap, tap, tap and put it on. So I'll speed this up a little bit for you. So you just see I'm kind of alternating through it, the white and the. Then I'm going to take a paper plate and I am going to just put the glitter on that. I need to venture out more without my glitter, right, guys? Some people don't like working with glitter, and if you don't, then you can use the stickles. There is a difference. Stickles has the glue already in it, and it dries differently than the glitter does. So, yeah, just different textures. All right, I'm going back to that vintage photo. I'm gonna edge up a little bit on the edges. Edge with some vintage photo, just kind of going through where I feel like it should go, here and there, just to kind of vintage it up a little, adding a little to the inside of the photo. Try not to hit your glue. Maybe you want to do this after your glue dries on the glitter parts there. Not too much, but for me, it kind of adds to her hair too. It kind of like that kind of all connects, like a little bit, a hint of the vintage kind of connects with the hair. All right. We'll put that aside. What's next? Good question. All right. It does need something, and you know what I'm grabbing. You know what I'm going for. What do I normally put around my pictures? But I remembered I wanted to have some fun with my new Stabilo. These are, um, let me see, let me show you. Woody 3-in-1. These are actually for little kids, but I think they're the cutest thing. They are chunky. They're chunky pencils. And because I didn't want to do black around her. So I've grabbed the blue, and it says can also be used on glass and is easy to wipe off. So this would be good for kids too if you have little ones around and you want to uh, share with them. I'm going around the body with blue, and then I'm going to go around her hair with white. Not white, brown. So it says Stabilo Woody 3-in-1 multi-talented pencil. It's a coloring pencil, wax crayon, and watercolor all in one. So it's definitely water soluble. It's strong covering and power, intense color, which I like because that's what we're doing around this. I'm using my finger just to kind of blend it in. Um, and I love the way it looks. It softens up those edges. Strong covering, power, and intense color, even on the darkest papers and glass. We'll have to try this one day on dark paper. It says unbreakable thick wooden pencil with L, extra large lead. Ideal for children, little hand, or for us older folk who might have a hard time holding on to those smaller pencils, right? My hands don't always work all the time. Just thought they were fun. And I love it that they come in all these cool colors too. Even like the skin tone color. Doesn't that make a difference though? It just really softens it up. You can't really see that good in the picture there, but oh my goodness, when this dries, the glitter, because the glitter is set kind of all in the flowers there. I'm just getting rid of some of the glitter. It looks so petite. What's the word I'm looking? Feminine and not petite. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Now, I don't want to forget my believe. What I will do is I would grab my Bible or Google and I will look up verses for believe and maybe do a little study with that. Maybe you can even put scripture on the page. Excuse me. This is a longer acrylic block. They do sell these. Usually it's in a set. I believe this is older, an older one I bought before. When you're stamping, you can also lay the stamps face down on your page the way that they would look once they're stamped. This gives you an idea of the layout of where you want to put the stamp and the spacing between the lettering. So I'm just using a little tool here to help me so they don't stick to my fingernails. And I'm just going to put believe. What I'm using here is again Sweet and Sassy Happy Alpha. That's a fun lettering stamp set that you can get. I got to remember it. All the ones I want to put in here. So I said I'm going to put the Stabilo link, the Sweet and Sassy links in there, the stamps that I use, and I'm going to try to see if I can't imagine there's not a distressed ink link that I could put in there for you. See anything else? So what you'll do is you'll put your block down on top of it, press it, and then it pulls up your stamps. And then I'm going to do a reverse inking where I'm just going to ink on top of the lettering. And just dab, 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 dab. Okay. Now you're probably thinking, but Justine, there's texture on this page. I'm completely okay with that. And you're going to see here, and I don't do this often, but I am doing it today because I just think it adds to the page. I'm pressing pretty hard on this. And there is, if you see on the I, did I spell believe right? I don't think I spelled it right. I spelled believe wrong. Okay, don't do what I did and spell it wrong. Now I'm gonna have to go in and change it. All right, but my point is, you'll see on the I that it's kind of distressed looking, and I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that. But I will go back in there. All right, this is a perfect example. If you make a mistake like I just did, you can repaint it and do a cover up with it. You can stamp it on another piece of paper and do something with it that way. I would not get upset because I make a lot of mistakes. No. Don't get upset at yourself. It's okay. We're human and that happens. And I had a feeling it's okay. So just fix it in a way that you're satisfied in. Um, don't stress out about it. I'm going to go through with my black, my big chunky flax Stabilo, and I'm just going to add a little bit of black to the edge also, just to kind of vintage it up a little. Don't stress. Don't stress, my friends. All right, so we're coming to the end here. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit, kind of thinking about last minute things that I might want to do. Oh, that's right, we're going to add the stickles. So I am adding stickles to the little headband piece there and to the key. Well, is it a key? Is it a key? To the key. It is a key. Um, I'm adding gold to the key. Just be careful when you're using your stickles, make sure you kind of prep it off the page, meaning you might have to shake it a little to get the glitter to the opening part upside down. So just adding a little bit of gold glitter there into the dots around her. Some to her forehead. Now forehead, I am doing blue and pink. And I'm alternating the colors. And then the same thing in her hair. I'm going to be doing the same thing, alternating the colors. And I'm telling you, this piece came out so nice. All right, as we end up here, it is my honor and privilege to be able to come and do some mixed media work with you. I hope that you will give some of these techniques a try, even if you don't want to do it with the printable, just have some fun. I actually like to use my mixed media book for that. You know, it's not only for Bible journaling and Bible studies, it's really cool to look back to see the journey that you've had in your art history, in your art journey. So, all right, we're pretty much done. Thank you again. I really appreciate you guys. So may God bless you and keep you till we meet again. I hope that you will give this a try and have some fun. Don't stress. All right, guys. Thanks again. Bye.